Good morning. Craig Howard here. Happy to be with you again this morning. I was reading a story this morning that really touched my heart, and um, I thought about how easy it is for us to mistakenly misunderstand what some people's intentions are or what some people are doing. It was a story about a woman who got a letter in the mail, and the letter criticized her because it was February and she still had all of her Christmas decorations up on the outside of her house. And the letter said, "Take down your." It was an anonymous letter, which, first of all, I think is the most cowardly way to contact someone. But the letter said, "Take down your Christmas decorations. It's almost Valentine's Day. Your decorations need to come down." What that person that wrote that letter didn't know is that this lady's father, and I believe it was, let me just look real quick so I get it straight. Yeah. She had lost both her father and her aunt to COVID 19. This was in 2020, this happened. She had lost both her father and her aunt to COVID. And she had lost her father just within a month or so. Her father had always had this tradition of going out right after the day after Thanksgiving and putting up all the Christmas decorations, and had done it that year. So those decorations that were up, her father had put up. She was struggling with the hospital bills. She was struggling with mortgage payments. She was struggling with a number of things. And I'm sure the person that wrote the letter didn't know all that, but also didn't bother to find out, just thought that she was being lazy. So she wrote a note on a community Facebook page and said, "I'm sorry that the Christmas decorations offend you, but my father put these up. We just lost him to COVID, and I just can't bring myself to take them down yet because they were the last thing he did for us. Also, we've been very busy trying to figure out how to meet the mortgage and how to pay for the funeral expenses of both my father and my aunt, and I just haven't had the energy or desire to get this done." The community became enraged. Someone started a GoFundMe page to help her pay these expenses of the funeral and the hospital bills. And people began all over the neighborhood. People began going into their attics, pulling out their Christmas decorations, and putting them back up, redecorating the outsides of their house in support of her, to show their love and their support and their understanding of her. You know, sometimes we don't we may think we know why somebody is doing something that they're doing. We can attribute laziness to people. We can attribute slothfulness. We can attribute stubbornness. We can attribute all sorts of reasons that we think are the reasons that people do some of the things that they do, but we really don't know unless we know that person. The Bible tells us that we're supposed to be careful as we approach situations that we think are wrong, but we're not sure. Jesus said, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another." Sometimes people struggle during situations, and they struggle to, maybe, I don't mean to condone sinful things, but just like not taking down her lights. Was it hurting anybody? No. Was it sinful? No. But it offended somebody in that community because they thought she was just being lazy. But they didn't know. They didn't know what she had gone through. They didn't know the grieving that she was still going through. They didn't know how much it hurt to take those lights down because it was the last thing her father had ever done for her. I've talked to a lot of people in situations like that. The Bible tells us that we're supposed to first approach one another in love. If we disagree with somebody, approach them in love. I'm not saying compromise values. I'm not saying compromise principles. I'm not saying call what is sin, call it not sin. I'm not saying that we're supposed to somehow turn away from doing right. Don't read into this something that I'm not saying. But I am saying we're supposed to approach one another in love, not just with our opinions and our ideas that we think are right, that might not really matter and may not take into account what that person is going through. So, to you who today may have been attacked by somebody who didn't really understand what you're going through, forgive them. If you're frustrated with somebody because they're not doing things the way you think they should, be loving. It's almost Christmas. Christmas represents the love of God better than anything else aside from the cross itself. Think about this as you approach what you see others doing. Well, I got a lot to do today. I'm sure you do too. Hope you have a great day. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, I love you. Merry Christmas to all of you as Christmas approaches. I thought it'd be a good time to do one in front of the Christmas tree. So have a great day. God bless you. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow.